Hi everyone, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. Before I get started, I'll just remind you that we have two catalogs right now. If you don't have a copy and you live in the US and you've never purchased from me before, then send me an email and I will get one out to you soon. The one is good through the end of February. Everything in it is our favorite price point. It's free, so it's free with a purchase. And this one is good through the end of June. So there's a lot of spring, Father's Day. It's just a fabulous catalog. And some of the stuff I'm going to use today, these gold leaf flakes, the gilded leafing, I'm going to use on today's project. So today I'm going to kind of mix and match. So most of what I'm going to be using is from the one suite, the Fine Art Floral Suite. And if you purchase the whole suite collection, that's $102 from me. It means you get everything on this page. Then you get a free class. It's an online class, and you'll get that, the video tutorials to use your things in early February. So if you purchase this now, then you'll get that then. And also by purchasing the $102, then you get either one $100 item or two $50 items out of the Sale-a-bration catalog. But I'm also going to mix it with a couple of different things. I'm going to use the foil that you may have seen. Oh, I laid it here. If you saw this card, the flamingo card that I just did, it's the pink foil and it's from one of the Valentine suites. But if you're not going to do Valentine cards, don't just pass by this suite because this foil, this ribbon is in it. So don't think, oh, I'm not doing Valentine's and not look at anything in it, because there's fabulous stuff in it. But a lot of people, because it's really hard for me to take pictures because the flash, the lights, it's actually a sunny day here today, but the winter gray skies, they all make stuff look a little bit off on the colors. So the foil that you get in this is actually the lighter pink. I think it's Blushing Brighter Petal Pink. I'm not sure which of the two pinks it is. Then there's a brighter pink that's probably Mambo. And then there's one, I think it's Sahara Sand. It says in the catalog. But it's not part of the suite that I'm using, but it all goes. And then I'm going to use a piece of, I'm doing my Try It class. And when I do my Try It class, they get 10 cards and they're all based on all the new stuff. So we used the purple paper in that. So I have a lot of this pink left and it's really pretty. So we're going to use this. This is Blushing Bright, but I am going to use the Art Gallery bundle. So I'm going to use one of the dies, or actually two of the dies, and then I'm just going to use the one Congratulations. So when I made this card, I was thinking it would be like a bridal card, but you could swap out because I'm going to use this really fun die that comes in it, and it says just want to say, and then all these go with it. So you can just want to say I miss you, congratulations, I just want to say happy birthday, I just want to say best wishes. So you can use any of them, and then you can also mix and match it with any other stamp sets that you already have. So if you just want to say whatever words you already have in another set, you can do that too. Like if you have the word wishes, you can just want to say happy Thanksgiving, or I just want to say Merry Christmas. You could mix it with anything. After I was done, I thought this would make really pretty, like when the girls make, oh, I can't think of the word, when you ask somebody to be your bridesmaid, or I just want to say save the date. It would make some kind of a pretty, not just wedding card, but pre-wedding thing. So it's super fast, which is always, if you're making multiples of something, that's always super important, right? So let's do our die cutting first, because I'm also going to use the pearlized paper, which is part of the Sand and Sea suite. And I'm going to stamp on it, and it takes just a second for it to dry. So let's just do our die cutting first. So I have the pink foil, then I have some of our adhesive sheets, and you'll definitely want these. These are found back in the back of the catalog if you have a paper one, if you're looking online, but they're with all of the die cutting stuff, and they just make adhering all of these finer things so much easier. So you pull off one side, and then you stick it to what you're going to run through your die cutting machine first. So now you have a sticky side that's stuck to that. You're going to make sure that nothing's hanging out. Where'd I put my scissors? Here they are. I just covered them up with my catalog, because if you send that through, it's just going to stick to your plates, and you don't want stuff stuck to your plates. But it really just creates a sticker. And you can see mine's older because at one point we had it and then we discontinued it for a couple of years and I hoarded it. So I'm just about out of the stuff I hoarded because even when I was doing videos for you guys and I was kind of taping it together different ways on camera, when I was making my own stuff sight unseen, I was still using the adhesive sheets. So let's put this on here. We have a piece of that. It's really staticky in our house. It's like in the 20s Fahrenheit outside today, and my emergency heat's kicked on a couple of times, which makes the static in here go crazy. So I'm gonna stick this one here, and then I'm gonna cut them both at the same time. So this fun little banner that's also part of the same bundle there. And because the foil, it's not expensive, but it's not as cheap as regular cardstock. So I always just like to cut it. So it's just gonna be the size that I need. And when you cut any of the metallic papers, just go through once because it puts those little holes in it. I have it the wrong way. So you can get it out easy. And if you go back and forth, because you don't need to, especially if you have this new machine, it cuts fabulously. But then it just presses more holes into it that you need. Now I'm gonna be careful, I'm just gonna leave it here because on the last card, I lost the top of my J. And I spent more time than I cared to looking for the top of my J. Like it cuts a fun little postage stamp, and I hope you can see the beveling on that. And this paper is just beautiful. So I also had, just sitting on my desk, which I often do, just other stuff, just random stuff. So on another project that you haven't seen yet, I was using the Mary Merlot and a couple of other colors as well. They were all pinks, but that was the last color I used. So I just took what was left on here. I didn't add any more, and just added just a tiny bit because I hadn't cleaned it off yet, just to give it a little tinge of some color. And then I've got my congratulations and my memento. And the reason I didn't stamp first and send it through is because, as I said, it just takes a few minutes for this to dry on this pearlized paper. And if I had done it the other way, then I would have to wait for it to dry. Okay, I'm gonna have to move this out of camera so I can see, get it on straight. So if you're doing a lot of them, you could just go ahead and pre-stamp them and let them all dry. You can also heat set it with your gun. So we'll just let that sit there now. By the time we get to it to stick it on the card, it'll be dry. So now we have that. This card's got weird steps. Like nothing on it's hard, but it's just a little different than other stuff that we do. Okay, so I've got my card. This is cut a little, like a 1/4 inch less than 4. It's not quite a 1/4 inch less, and a little less than 5, because we need some room for our tear and tape. So I've got my Stampin' seal. Just gonna put a little bit in the middle. I'm gonna stick this on here, just like that. And this is our tear and tape. It's our strongest tape. So if you're making boxes or anything that really needs to hold together, this is what you'll use. But it also will hold together our new gilded leafing. It will do a straight line, obviously. So if you're trying to make it look like it's part of a flower or something like that, you don't want to use this because it's just going to do a straight line. So we do the top and the bottom first. And everywhere that there's tear and tape, you're going to have the leafing. So make sure that it just goes where you want it to go. I want it to be a frame. So I want it to go a little past the edge, and I'm not pressing down on the edges, the ends yet, because that way I can trim it. So once I get it there, just have these and trim those off. So now let's press these down. It's a little bit like the adhesive sheet we're going to use in a second. So peel these up. Once you peel it up, you'll want to be careful and not to touch it because it's super sticky. So this isn't a project you want to stop and answer a phone call in the middle of once you've peeled this off. I'm going to go from this side. There we go. the other two sides. And this one I'm going to try to match up over the top, but again, don't stick your ends on. I found that's the easiest. That one's pretty good. And this one I'll just trim ever so slightly. You can see it's just, I want it to be kind of even with the other one, so it's a straight line. I don't really want that little piece up there. There we go. Not that it matters hugely because, you know, gilded leafing is leafing, and so it kind of takes on a life of its own once it's on. I just don't want it hanging off the edge of my card. And I also, this is, sometimes when you film, you know, I'm way out here and I'm sitting way back here. So it's a little bit harder for me to see. It wasn't quite this fidgety when I did my own card, because I could see more what I was doing. But if I show you, if I can see what I'm doing, then you're going to see the top of my head and you're not going to see it. Okay, let's press these down. And you also, because sometimes when I do this, I just let that stuff stick to my fingers. But if I do that now and then I touch my leafing in a second, I'm going to have leafing stuck all over my fingers. And we don't want that. So just push this down. And then pull these back up. So we've done wedding cards and all kinds of bridal things for different groups. It's a fun thing to do, and once COVID is over and we can gather again, it's a fun thing to do with like all the bridesmaids or the bride's family, and you have everybody over and you provide the stuff. Depending on how we do it, sometimes they bring the food or we supply the food, and then we just, if you have several people, you can knock all this stuff out in one day, and you can get their thank yous and their invitations and their save the dates and everything all done, especially if you have one or more die cuts. So you just take this in here. I've dumped it into this big container that I'm saving it in, and this is just one pot of the leafing, so just put it in here. You can see where it's sticking to the tear and tape, and you can see where it's sticking to the sides, and that's because there's static in my house. That's why I got a big one. And then you just take a brush, and you can rub hard because it's not everything that's stuck to the tear and tape is not going to come off. Look how pretty that is. So for a wedding card or a Mother's Day card or a anniversary, graduation, there's just so many occasions where that extra touch, or to do a frame, have leafing on the inside of my card. And I've been noticing that you need to make sure you don't have it on your hands. So now we just have to, I told you, it's a super simple card. This is almost dry. This is why I don't take this out. So I'm just gonna start, see every time that sticks in there, the top of my J, but the first time I knocked it out and then I lost it. So I'm gonna start with the say and put it on here. And then just, because you want to make sure that they're both, so if I have my say here, my just up here, and then I use my take your pick tool, and I'm going to just do one of these and then I'll fast forward it. But if you just grab this, see how you grab it and it gets that sticker adhesive right off there. And then you just put this one. So I know I wanted it right up here, kind of in the corner. And a helpful tip, if you don't press super hard, then you can go back and move them. So don't press hard till you know they're exactly where you want. So I will add the rest of these. And look, that was one roll through my cut and emboss machine. So you don't need to go back and forth and back and forth. That cut through the foil and it cut through the adhesive sheets just fine with one pass. They're not even stuck, it's just stuck on its letters. So I will stick these on and then I'll fast forward. Okay, so they're all stuck on where I want them. So just press them on now. And then I took our tiny dimensionals. There were so many things that I wanted to stick on this card. Like this ribbon would look beautiful, but I wanted the gold leafing to really be the star of the show. So I decided to not stick ribbon on, which is unusual for me because I do like ribbon. So we just need 2 tiny dimensionals, 1 on each side. That one fell off before it was where I wanted it. There we go. And then 1 over here. And press those on and you can see that's dry. I wouldn't rub it yet. It does dry all the way. So then I did just add, these are our champagne rhinestones and they come in 3 sizes. So I took the medium one and added it to the end of my banner. And I always like to use 3 embellishments because your eye likes to see in odd numbers. So 3 or 5 or 1. So unless you're doing eyes or something, I don't do 2. So there you go. Now my first one, I didn't use the foil. I used another paper and I peeled it up because I didn't like it. So this one you'll see I added dots to the insides of some of my hydrangeas because I was trying to get some more contrast between the light here and that. On this one, I'm not going to do that because I think the foil holds its own. But isn't that not just pretty? And I mean, it just takes a matter of minutes to make. If you are making them, if you want to make several, like if you want to say, just want to say save the date, then you would run through a bunch of these and foil a bunch, like all of them, do each step on its own. And if you ever, like I do offer to help. Like if you're going to buy your supplies from me, I'm more than happy to figure out exactly how much of everything you need. If you're going to do 50 of something, I can figure out how much leafing and how much tear and tape and all of that you need as part of your order to help you get that figured out. So that's what I have for you today. I thought that one was coming up. I think it's just the way the light's hitting it. But I really do hope if the camera's not picking this up, then I will try to get it on Instagram where I can maybe take it over to the sunny window and try to get it because the colors on this are just beautiful. So everybody have a great day. If you're interested in doing any of my classes or finding out about my monthly thank you gifts or joining my email list or joining my team, and if you're one of my team members, then you get to do all of my online classes for free because that's a perk. So everybody have a great day. Bye.